driver interviews, pit action, industry news. We're bringing you everything that fuels the adrenaline-pumping world of dirt track racing. Buckle up now. You're sitting with the Slimy Bastards. Take it away, Jason.
Well, welcome to the Slimy Bastard podcast show this afternoon. It's a beautiful day up here in northern Iowa and kind of excited. I've been down and out with some surgery stuff that I've dealt with my hand and that, so I haven't been out to the races and that, and I normally am, but with racing season coming to an end and getting into some of the music stuff, I'm happy to have on Andrew Rapier with the band Felicity. And I've been following these guys for a little bit on TikTok. I came across you guys on TikTok, and I will say, first and foremost, welcome to the show, and thanks to the sponsors that helped me out on with the show with us. So thanks Tom's Fishing and Guiding Services, and of course Slade Pitt out there at Pit Stop Motorsports in Rock Springs, Wyoming, and check out his clothing line of Edition clothing. So with that, welcome to the show, man. Where are you at? Are you in Florida? Where are you guys at?
Yeah, we're based in Orlando, Florida. We're all prepping for a hurricane right now. So happy we could make some time and jump on before all that happens. Who knows if we'll lose power or whatnot. You never know. But at least we're not inland, so hopefully not get hit too hard. I know Tampa's going to get it pretty bad, Southwest Florida.
Yeah.
So
yeah. All right. When you guys are down there, because you guys just went through a similar deal, not even a month or so ago, a couple of weeks ago.
And we didn't get it really at all here in Orlando, so we were lucky. But I know like Southwest Florida and Western Florida, like they're just finally like back up to speed, and it sucks. It's here we are again, but that's life. I originally grew up in New England and Maine, so we dealt with nor'easters and big snowstorms. We lose power for days and stuff. I moved down here, and now we deal with this. So
yeah, so I want to get into the music side of this right out of the gate of how the video that came up that I seen, and I was like, holy shit, this is pretty fucking good. Is just a sound clip of the Hey Jude remake with the crowd involved and everything. And then I was like, God, this is I love the tone. I love the sound of it. I think it sounds really, really good. And of course, other bands have done remakes of that song, but for whatever reason, that it sounds really, really good. And I'll share a clip of it on my TikTok and everything, or on highlights and that. But is that something that I know I have yet to find out the whole recording of it? So when are we going to get the whole recording of this?
Yeah, so we originally wanted to just go into the studio, I think it was last year or the year before, and just record some like we call them mini covers, where we kind of did a day in the studio, and I think 2 days in the studio with a producer of all these mini covers. His name is Dylan Herzog here in Orlando, but we wanted to just create some mini covers for TikTok of just like iconic songs or modern songs and mishmash genres, and just make different songs, rock and pop punk. And we wanted to do like stuff from all different genres. So we did a lot of different stuff, and we had a couple of them blow up on TikTok, and this is one of them. And we originally posted it a couple years ago or last year, and it did pretty good on TikTok, but it wasn't like world changing for us. And then we've reposted it, we kind of reposted it in the last couple of weeks to see what would happen. And then it kind of caught fire just now. But we haven't done the full version. We were kind of just did it like to be like 30 seconds long for specifically formatted for TikTok, so we could do a professional video for it. And we did all of that. And then we had so much fun with it that we ended up adding it to our live set. So it's been in our live set as like the last thing of our show. We play our biggest song, The Weather, and then we go into that, like our rendition of Hey Jude, and just get everyone singing along for the end of the show. And so as we were doing that, we started getting videos of us doing that live, and then we started putting the audio from the mini cover we recorded professionally and mashing it together just to see, okay, like maybe there's some legs here. And that's kind of what's really started to catch fire. lately. So if you come to our show, you'll hear us play it live. But right now, we're actually talking about potentially going and doing a full version of the song. It's one of our favorite songs, and we're not even really big Beatles guys, but that song in particular, we were like, man, that sounds like a song that could just be heavier and bigger and like a stadium rock vibe, which
it sounds awesome. Like I love the bass and everything. Like it's heavy, and that's what I loved about it. I mean, and I'm into all kind of different genres of music, but like you and I were talking before we jumped on this, is I love the darker side, like Typo Negative and the Pantera. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But this has that. I love the way it and just the whole crowd interaction with it, with that heaviness. I think it's awesome. Um, with it. So yeah, good job on it. I
Thanks,
can't
man.
wait to hear the full version of it. So what other songs have you done covers of? What's out there that hasn't been released yet?
Yeah, so on we did a cover of a metal cover, kind of like heavy metal hard rock cover of Last Christmas by Wham for Christmas last year.
Really? Yeah.
We released that, and that was really popular. It's just kind of a seasonal, like we look forward to it gonna look forward to it this Christmas, because like that song will start getting streamed again, maybe as soon as Halloween kind of passes. And so we'll start pushing that one again. That one came out. We did a full song of that. We've done a full cover of Watermelon Sugar by Harry Styles a couple years ago. And then for the for our TikTok series, we did only like 30-second covers, and we were trying to see like, hey, if any of these really blows up, we can always go back into a full version. But really, TikTok, the format is, 10 to 30 seconds is most content. So we're like, let's just start there, not waste our time doing a full song, just in case like it doesn't come out the well, it doesn't connect. And so we did Morgan Wallen. That one blew up. That's probably the most viral one we had was we did Waste on You by Morgan Wallen, a heavy version of that. And then we've done a bunch of country songs. We did Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy. We did Country Girl by Luke Bryan. We did Drunk on a Plane. We did a lot of we did a Taylor Swift song. We did some 90s R&B. I think we did a TLC song and a couple others. We try to just do things that you wouldn't expect. We did a K-pop song. We just try to and it all different varying degrees of success, but they're all fun to do. And we like to do stuff that's just like never been really done like heavy or rock before, because most popular songs have been done in that, people do a rock cover of it. So
that Cody was it Cody Parks and the Dirty South down there, would they do that remake of the Rob Zombie and Johnny Cash? Aren't you guys are down there with them guys, aren't you? Do you know who I'm talking about?
I don't think so. I'm sure I know of them. It doesn't ring a bell directly, but it sounds familiar. But yeah, we do mostly 90% of everything we do is original music. We've never been a cover band. We just started doing this for just fun, for TikTok content and promotional content. And then if anything is really fun to play, we sometimes work a little bit into our live set. So really, our singer Damien, he originally came from like the cover scene. He was doing 90s grunge and early 2000s covers and playing the bar scenes every single night. And, you play 3 hours and you do cover music. And he got sick of that and wanted to start an original band. And so that's kind of how it ended up. Felicity started, was coming from that. So it's nothing that he's unfamiliar with for sure, but definitely like taking, pop songs and songs of different genres and making them. We're really like obviously a hard rock band, but everything hard rock, alternative, new metalcore, pop punk. We try to do all of it. We try to mix it all together. We call our band a trash rock band because it's a genre we created where if you just put every genre of rock music into a trash can and shook it up, it's what we do. So you never really know what you're going to get from us, but we listen to everything. Like one day we'll be listening to, early 2000s metalcore, and the next day we might be listening to country music. So we like to just not really box ourselves in just one specific sound necessarily.
Right. And that one video too that is up there on your TikTok page of your lead singer, is he actually a school teacher?
Yeah. Two guys in a band are school teachers. One of them's a high school math. Our bass player is a high school math teacher, and our singer Damien's I think 4th or 5th grade teacher. So he teaches like all subjects. Yeah. Yeah.
But the video out there is of the kids of singing your guys, and what's the name of the song?
That's called The Weather. That's like our most popular song. But yeah, that
Right.
was really cool when he gets to have moments like that with his kids and stuff. And that one is probably our most viral TikTok. I think I got like 2 million views or something like that. But that was a really cool moment.
But with that, what I'm getting to though is that song has such a catchy chorus to it. Like
Yeah,
it's played in my head for the past 2 days
that's
now.
awesome.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, this is, and I had my little girl, my little daughter, she's in third grade.
Mhm.
And I'm like, because with the kids singing along to it, she's
Yeah.
in the kids bop and all that
Yeah.
crap,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and anyway, I said, listen to this, and she did, and she's like, oh, I like it, and
That's
so
awesome.
it's yeah, it's a catchy deal. So you guys are up ever in northern Iowa, Minnesota area, let me know because I'd love to take her to one of your guys' shows. I think it's great sounding stuff that you guys are doing. So
Thanks, man. She would have a lot of fun. We have like so many times we have like our fan. We've been around for 10 years, and you know, really the last couple of years because of TikTok and stuff is really, kind of taken off. But we've been grinding for a long time, and we have a lot of point where people who may have joined the Felicity family became fans like right at the beginning, and now a lot of them have kids. So we see a lot of youngsters at our shows these days when we go on the road, and it's always cool to see like the next generation parents getting their kids into rock music because so many kids these days aren't really exposed to rock music or listen to it as much, and it's not
right.
as much. It's not as necessarily like popular as accessible. So it's so awesome to see, and yeah, we're gonna be we're trying to get on the road as much as we can. We all still have day jobs and stuff. We just were
Yeah.
on a tour in March that did most of the East Coast, and the next thing we're looking at is West Coast. And we hope to get to the point. You hope to get to the point as a band where, a band bigger than us, it invites us on the road again because that's
Right.
always a lot of fun. And that's what we did back in March. We were on tour with a band called Between You and Me, and we were like the opening band, but the
Yeah.
shows were awesome and they're really good. And a lot of people were there, to see us, and we're singing along to like 3 or 4 of our songs at every show of our set. We're like, wow, people know these songs. It's really cool. And TikTok
Right.
heard these people into coming to shows. So it's a lot of fun.
You speaking of going up and down the East Coast and that, what's been some of the funnest places you guys have played at? What's been some of the bigger clubs that you played at that you enjoy?
Yeah, we love so I mean Nashville is always a really fun city.
Yeah.
There's a ton of live music, but every time we get to play there, we have lots of friends. We have lots of friends there, and the shows are always awesome. And it's kind of centrally located, so we have a lot of people where we don't get the tour as much as we'd like to. So, people are willing to drive a couple hours to come see us. So Nashville's a great spot because that whole area, a lot of people are used to having to go to like Nashville or Knoxville or cities around there, Louisville potentially to go to shows. So we always have a great show in there. We love playing the Masquerade in Atlanta. That's one of our favorites. And every time we play there, it's such an awesome venue, and we have such a great time there. We just played our first show in Chicago, which was a lot of
Oh,
fun.
yeah.
We always have like we can see like the back end of our Spotify of
Yeah.
where our like monthly listeners are and where our fans are. And Chicago was always in the top cities in the United States our entire life. And we had never played a show there. We were supposed to play a show there back in 2018, I think. It got canceled last minute because of a storm. And so we finally got to play there a few months ago, and it was awesome to play that city. And there's a lot of people who are waiting to see us there. And then we just did a few markets for the first time this past tour, which was like Richmond, Virginia. They showed up. That was a really cool city to play. Charlotte, North Carolina was really cool. So really like that, the Northeast, we've gotten all the way up to New York City, and then we've done all the East Coast, pretty much every East Coast Southern state from the Carolinas, Atlanta, Virginia, DC, and then we've gone up mid. We played Indianapolis before. That city's super fun to play. But I'd
Sure.
say Chicago, and Nashville and Atlanta outside of Florida are probably 3 of our favorites right now to play.
Yeah. When you were in Chicago and that, and you said you could look on the backside of your Spotify and that, and with tying that in with your TikTok videos and that, are you seeing that trend hit and miss in the certain markets that you see?
We definitely know that like if we have a good Spotify following in that region, the show will probably do well. And that definitely translated in Chicago for sure. And Minneapolis is one of our biggest markets. And it's weird because I've like here in Orlando, there's a lot of successful up and coming rock and pop punk bands that are signed to labels and going on full national tours. And I asked them, we'll like compare Spotify's and we'll see kind of the back end numbers for us. And Minneapolis for all of us is usually in the top 5, Chicago for all of us. So it just seems to be like that area has that type of culture that is into rock music. So Minneapolis, Chicago, Detroit are all great rock and punk and pop punk markets. And then Denver is a great market for that as well. And then we kind of, are all around. We have more people listening to us on Spotify in those markets than we do in our hometown, which is just it is what it is. We can't explain it. We don't complain about it though, but it's just how it all works out.
You take some of these other venues and that, like what's one of the largest venues that you played at?
We've played some festivals, which are obviously like really big stages, and those are always amazing. But like as far as like venues go, like we've gotten to play House of Blues here in Orlando a couple of times, and that's just like probably a House of Blues in every city. They have 1,000-person cap venue, like 12,000 to 1,500 is probably the biggest cap venues we played. That's not a festival. We played the Troubadour in LA, which is a world famous venue, and we got to open for the Used there, sold out show. That was like amazing. Our first time playing in LA was a sold out show with the Troubadour, which is like where Guns N' Roses got discovered and Elton John had his first show in the United States there. Like it's just an iconic venue. So to be able to do stuff like that, we have to like pinch ourselves and be like, hey, this is awesome. Yeah.
So how long ago did you play the Troubadour?
That was last summer. So it was about a year ago.
Okay.
Yep.
So when you get into a spot like that, is it overwhelming at first? Like when you walk in, it's like, holy shit, this is here we are right now compared to some of the clubs like back home. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's always like, you work your way up, you play or there's like the venue that's like probably the shittiest, most accessible venue in every city. And you start your touring career by playing those. And you talk to the local bands in that area and you say, hey, we're coming to play a show. Do you guys want to play with us? And they say, yeah, where is it? And you say, it's at such and such venue. And usually they're like, we're good. We don't want to play that one anymore. But it's like, it's paying your dues. And every city has that. And we started at the one in Orlando here playing that. And then we upgrade to bigger and bigger venues in Orlando to where we've now played the House of Blues in Orlando, which is probably one of the best ones you can play. And then, so it's kind of like you hope to go on tour and you upgrade a little bit every time.
Sure.
And we've kind of done that in a lot of these markets where it's gotten a little bit better. And, for LA, the Troubadour is like, you can, there's very few, clubs that we would be able to perform at like that. And that was just kind of like one of those once in a lifetime opportunities. And it definitely does make you kind of pinch yourself and see the hard work starting to pay off. And, seeing a few more people in the crowds and the venues getting a little bit better and the sound being a little bit better and the stage being a little bit bigger. This one has this bigger stage and they have cool lighting at the venue, right? And so it's like, cool, like everything's like going up a little bit. We just want to be out on the tour road more. We want to be able to play as many markets as we can is our main goal.
So who's one band that you'd like to tour with then? What's
your
goals of?
We have our bucket list, like bands that are really, really special and important to us, that it's kind of like a dream, almost to the point where we make TikToks about it. But for us as a band, one band that's always been really, really special to us and a dream band we want to tour with is Papa Roach. Obviously, nice. Someday that would be awesome to be able to go on tour with them. But it's just a band that we really look up to as far as not just the music they put out, but we've been fans of them since they first came out, and they always aren't afraid to reinvent themselves, push the envelope. They always seem to be relevant and consistently putting out music that gets on the radio. And we've also like met them being on the same festival lineup. So it's one of those things where it's like they're playing way later in the day. We're playing early. Right. We had played and our day was done. And we got to meet them backstage, and they were just super down to earth and awesome guys. Whenever like bands you really look up to, end up to exceed what you imagine them to be, meeting them in person. That's always really cool. So even before that, that was a dream for us to be able to tour with Papa Roach. But now for sure, it's like we know that we would have a great time, and they're great, genuine guys. And I say the one thing about them is that watching them backstage before they go on, it's like they do this like band huddle, and they're on show 100 out of 200 or whatever it is, and in a row, and they are just as excited as probably the first show they ever played, right? Like it's not just a day in the office for them. They're very appreciative. They still really love it, and you can tell when you go see them live or you hear their, listen to them, how they go about their business. They still love it, and they're in it for the right reasons. So that's definitely one of them.
You out of all, like you said, you've done some festivals and all that, but what's one band that has actually kind of blown you away that you were surprised at? And the reason why I'm going to ask that question is because you just alerted to it, or you alluded to it with Papa Roach. I've seen Papa Roach. I've actually been there, and I could speak to that of I've been around them guys, and great bunch of guys, real professional, really, really cool to hang out with. But
and great
along
live
with
too.
that,
Like if you haven't seen Papa Roach live, you probably like just because all their songs and whatever, but like put on a great live show.
Right. They're probably one of the top 5 bands I've seen live, honestly.
Yeah.
Of just for a live interactive show. But that Papa Roach, and that's why I asked this question. I was actually surprised by that of how well their live show was.
Yeah.
But for you, what's one band that you've seen that's kind of blown you away of?
I'd say some bands that I knew the songs of, but I was shocked at how much fun I had and how great the show was. I would say a band like Weezer. I just had low expectations for I don't know why even I did, but it was awesome. And they played all their hits, and you knew every song, and they were great live. And I was like, that was one that surprised me of how great of a show they put on, and how I thoroughly enjoyed myself from front to back, where I just had low expectations for whatever reason. They're opening for Fall Out Boy, amazing, kills it live every time. And then Weezer was great. I'd say another one would probably be I would say, man, 3 Days Grace, because I was like, they were great, amazing live. And I was like, I know they have so many hit songs that you don't realize they have until you go to a show and you realize that like they're playing a 10, 12 song set, and you knew every single word to every single song. And you realize the impact a band like 3 Days Grace has. And so just a greater respect for them as a band, the longevity, coming back after changing singers and still being relevant. And then you go see them live, and you were like, I know like at least everyone knows at least like 5+ 3 Days Grace songs, where you may think you don't know that many. You may think you know 1 or 2, but you know so many when you actually get to the show. That would be definitely one of them. And the first time I saw Papa Roach, same thing as you, same reaction to that. Another insanely good live band, Wage War. If you get a chance to see Wage War, if you're into heavier music, probably one of the best live metal bands, of the like younger generation of metal bands that I've seen. That's absolutely amazing. Nothing More blew me away live. They have just a completely unique, wild, great show, and I didn't even know them really before I saw them. They were on a festival we played. Those are definitely some of them, the ones that absolutely, that were amazing live that everyone should check out. Chance.
So what all of them, like when you've done bigger festivals, obviously you got a pretty good following down there in Florida and all that, and you're starting to see it kind of now move. Obviously, if you're touring up in the West Coast and some of the Midwest of what little you have, but and you're just kind of out in limbo right now. But it's kind of a weird deal of how TikTok and social media has been present on some of these guys of what how fast and upcoming you go to, and you're kind of seeing that now, right? And so with that, are you kind of hesitant on what's going to come, or are you just going to go with what's going to make sense at the time of or going out on tour, especially where you got guys' careers on the line and everything else? That's a big decision.
Yeah. we're always if an opportunity comes up, we're going to do whatever it takes to take it. But at the same time, we don't necessarily go and do tours. Every tour that we're offered or things that necessarily don't make sense. We could like go on tour and just live on the road right now. Or financially, it wouldn't make sense. And exactly, since we do have careers, but the goal is to get the band to the point where we either get fired because we're taking too much time off for band, or we're able to preferably, take the step down. But we really just take things day by day and just stay grateful for that and just keep working, because we know that like if we keep doing it the right way and keep working, the opportunities we want will come, and they have. This last March, we got to go on tour for the first time, where we were, asked by a band that we looked up to come out on tour with them, and that's a big milestone for every band. You
Right.
especially us being independent. We don't have crazy financial support from a record label, or we don't have a manager right now, things like that. We do everything DIY, and so to get that point where we're able to just make music that connects with people and then promote it in a way that gets in front of enough people like the music, and that we're able to get those opportunities. And so it's just full stomping on the gas and finding unique ways to promote ourselves, continue to release great songs, try to always top ourselves with how we promote the next single from the previous single, and then always try to top ourselves as songwriters, because at the end of the day, the song is what matters most. And like that song, The Weather, we talked about, when we were writing it, we didn't necessarily know it was going to be the song that most people recognize us by, but you just put out a bunch of music and you never quite know what hits. And that took about a year and a half of us promoting it for it to really take off for whatever reason.
Right.
Don't know. It's all
there again. It's just that catchy chorus. I mean, it just sticks with you, and like that. Even that with that "Hey Jude." I mean, you got two really good stuff. You got some good stuff right there out of the gate.
Yeah, absolutely.
So with that, I mean, who's one of the guys that you look up to for what you play in that? Like, who would you put on your Mount Rushmore?
So I play guitar, electric guitar, and for me, some of the big ones for me is the Mount Rushmore is not necessarily my personal favorites. I'll do Mount Rushmore, who I consider like the greatest. I'd say like, when I consider like iconic Mount Rushmore guitar players, they have to fit a certain criteria of, they have to be like obviously extremely commercially successful, because Joe Satriani is amazing, and Yngwie Malmsteen's amazing, and Steve Vai is amazing. These guitar player, John Petrucci, like these virtuoso guitar players. But in my opinion, like you have to be a great songwriter as well as technicality, and be just marketable as a brand yourself. So, the perfect example of that is like Van Halen, right? Like great songwriting, also personal brand, and amazing at guitar. And for me, it's like if you hear them just play guitar, can you tell it's them? Like you can tell unique, like a singer, you can tell it's a singer. Like the best guitar players, in my opinion, are able to develop that. So for me, it's probably Van Halen. The iconic ones is, I think there's one like almost every generation. So like the first one might be, Jimi Hendrix. And then you could just tell it's Jimi Hendrix. The way he played, the way he sounded was not unlike anything at the time. And then Van Halen, I would put Slash is probably the third one. And then out of like the last 20 to 30 years, it's a little bit tougher. But for me, it would probably be Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine, and Audio Slave. Just like you can tell it's him when he's playing, and he's reinvented kind of like guitar for this last generation. Him, or I would see, Jack White is just a guitar player. You can tell it's him. Like you hear a song, you're like, this is a Jack White song, a White Stripes song, a Raconteurs song, or he's featuring on something. Like probably like those. Not necessarily all those guys are the most insanely talented, gifted guitar players, but as far as like iconic sound and playability. But my personal favorite, Slash is the one that overlaps there. Slash is one of my absolute favorites. And Randy Rhoads, originally, from Ozzy Osbourne, Quiet Riot, he's one of my favorite guitar players. I'm a huge fan of my favorite band of all time is Limp Bizkit, and I think Wes Borland is an insanely underrated guitar player. How much he like carries that entire band, and the guitar
Right.
parts are so unique and cool, and it's just everything he writes is so weird and unique, and but it fits the song so well, and Wes Borland, and then if I my last one, I try to go to like more of a like if I go a heavier direction, I'm really big fan of Sinister Gates from Avenged Sevenfold. I think
Yeah.
he's super like one of those like virtuoso guys who can write a hell of a good song too.
Sure. You know, it's funny about Wes Borland. I'm hoping I get a run into Tommy Victor here soon.
Yeah, yeah,
From who Tommy Victor
yeah,
is of
yep.
from Prong.
Hmm.
And I could have swore back it's probably been at least that is back in 2004, 2005. Um, and I went to a Prong show. It was out in Idaho, and went to a Prong show, and I swear to God, it was Wes Borland up there playing guitar for
Yeah.
Prong. And I even asked him, I said, are you Wes Borland? And he just kind of gave me a smirk and then just smiled and walked
Mm.
off. And I've always wondered, he never did come out and say he was. And that's during the time, when Limp Bizkit really wasn't doing anything and he wasn't
Mhm.
even involved with Limp Bizkit then.
Yeah. He took
But
like
I've
10 years
always
off.
wanted to know if that was him up there playing with them guys, because it looked, sounded everything like his guitar tones, everything.
Yep.
And
And I just saw them Limp Bizkit for the first time, which is crazy because they've been my favorite band for since I was little, but for like there was like 10, 20 years where they were inactive, and
yeah,
then they did come back a few years ago and did a tour, and the show in Orlando got canceled. Wasn't And we were supposed
yeah,
to play on the same festival as them. The whole festival got canceled, and then they finally came back this year, and I got to see him for the first time. Right, it was like 2 days before my birthday, and it was awesome. They played nothing but the hits.
yeah,
It was only stuff off like Chocolate Starfish and Significant Other.
right.
It was awesome, and I couldn't have asked for more. And he absolutely was amazing.
Not, I'm not saying it was him. I'm just
Yeah,
I would always wanted to know, and if I Tommy Victor,
I
and
w-
I've never met him before, but I've been wanting to meet him.
yeah,
If and I could almost hear him. Fuck no, it wasn't Tommy.
yeah, yeah. That's funny. Maybe he
But
gets whoever it was gets that a lot. Are you West
yeah,
Borland?
yeah, I'm sure he does. I mean, because like I said, at the time, it was you could have swore it was him.
Yeah.
But um, speaking of which, what are you into sports at all, or
Hmm.
what?
Yeah,
What
big.
do you follow, or who do you follow?
I'm originally from Maine, so I'm pretty much Boston sports
I'm
teams.
sorry.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Patriots are my. I got a Patriots tattoo here.
Uh,
It's tough. It's tough, but I had 20 years where it was great. My entire life, it was great. I don't
right.
remember the Patriots ever being bad until the last few years. So it sucks, but it is what it is. I still throw on the jersey every Sunday and hope like, hey, maybe it'll be different this week, and then it's not. But hey, it's
Yeah.
part of being a sports fan is you got to go through the tough times too. So
Well, I'm a Vikings fan, if you can
yeah,
see by the
hey
cup
man,
here, and
they're shocking the world right now.
yeah, life's good up here in northern Iowa, southern Minnesota right now. So I'm going to take
Yeah.
it of
Yeah, exactly. And even no matter what you have a rookie quarterback, a young quarterback to look forward to
yeah,
eventually. So, but yeah, I have the Celtics win this year. It's like as a Boston fan, it's like, yeah, the Patriots suck now, but I did just win an NBA championship, and
yeah,
the Bruins are always pretty good. So we're okay in New England. It would be nice that it's always nicer when the Patriots are good, but
right.
but yeah, or the Red Sox, so they suck right now too. But yeah, big sports guy, in fantasy and the whole nine, and I always get up for Patriot season. That's my number one, always has been, and
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, it's tough right now.
The, the what normally my podcasting through the summer is all on dirt track racing, and
Cool,
it's been really popular and everything. And here in Iowa and all around the Midwest here, dirt track racing
very
is
cool.
huge. If you're ever in this area in the summertime, love to have you guys out at the track one time. Maybe we could get you down at Boone for one of the shows that they do during the Boone
Be
Nationals.
awesome.
They go on, the guys will go on about 1 in the morning, and then they
Mhm.
go to like 4 or 5 in the morning
That's
because
wild.
they're racing from 2 o'clock in the afternoon all the way up till midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning.
That's dope.
And
Yeah, we would
it's
love
all
to.
like dirt track, stock car modified racing and
Very
that. But
cool.
um, anyway, it's kind of funny how guys, they'll be listening to music in their pits and everything, and it's a lot of guys are into a lot of this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
So
it all crossover. Like music
if
is
you're
universal.
into what's that?
I said, yeah, like music's universal for
Right.
every niche stuff. So it's awesome.
But if you're ever in this area and we should try to make it work where you guys are at one of the shows or one of the races and that.
We'd love to make that happen for sure.
With that in mind, so what's planned for you guys the rest of the year?
So we are working on our tour. We're gonna be on tour hopefully this December is what it's looking like now. So we're gonna be on the road and hitting some West Coast dates, which we're really excited about. It's gonna be our first West Coast tour. It's a little bit unique for us. We're planning on flying into Seattle, renting it with as much equipment as we can, and then renting a vehicle, and then taking a vehicle all the way down to Denver, from Seattle down to Denver, playing the whole West Coast, and then flying back to Orlando after that. So it's gonna be a unique challenge. It's gonna be fun. But we're really looking forward to that. We have a good amount of music we've released over the last year and a half that we are going to be releasing an album. So it doesn't have an official release date yet, but we're expecting that to be by the end of this year or really maybe early next year. No real rush on it, just because we want to make sure we get everything right, and we're just waiting for a couple one master track to get back from our producer for that, and our album will be done, and then we're going to be releasing that album, and then we have another whole album's worth of material that we've been working on. Basically, our last full-length record was in 2021, and we recorded it in 2019, and then COVID happened, and we released it in 2021. So since 2021, we were like, hey, just in case anything like this ever happens again and we're not able to release music or play shows, let's have a backlog of music. So we've been in the studio with our producer, Andrew Wade, who's here in Orlando, but he produces a lot of great rock bands. We've been working with him since 2021 on these songs, and we've added a few since then too. So we have had 2 albums worth of material that we're going to be working on releasing all next year as well. So we're just like kind of foot to the gas now that we got all this material, and everything's starting to come into place for us. So just continue to release new music all next year as well.
Yeah. I can't wait to hear some of it, just because of what I
Nice.
have heard. It's really, really good. So I
And
can't wait to hear it.
we did a lot of music, and the second half of this, the second half of it, this kind of stuff that's going to start coming out next year, is definitely kind of more on the hard rock, energetic, high energy hard rock side. And so we always have a lot of fun doing that. And so it's going to be a little bit darker, a little bit heavier, which we do really well and our fans really like. So we're really excited to start releasing some of those songs as well.
Yeah. Well, like I said, best of luck, and
Thanks so much.
keep doing what you guys are doing, because it sounds awesome, and I can't wait till you guys come around this area, because I'd love to see you guys live, and get that recording of that Hey Jude done and get it out there. That thing is
we're working on it, especially since the last couple of weeks that's kind of really taken off. So I think we need it. We're trying to get some stuff on the books to get that taken care of as soon as we can.
I'll share the clip on so people could hear this, some of the clips and that. But
Awesome.
you got a fan here. I'll help you guys spread the word and that, and it's been fun and that. So with that in mind, anybody who you guys want to thank helping you get anybody that helps you guys? And
yeah, definitely. It's when it comes to our Hey Jude cover and future full song, Dylan Herzog, who helped us come up, take that idea and bring it to life. Our producer Andrew Wade for all of our original music, and for anyone listening, if you want to check us out, it's on all social medias at We Are Felicity, and the band's just Felicity on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you listen to music. And go check out The Weather, because it'll probably get stuck in your head. If you're looking for a new song to get stuck in your head, there you go.
It is too, and it does it all day yesterday. I just had that fucking chorus line in my. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's
no,
a good
of
thing.
course I know. Happens to me all the time.
But No, it's good. That's a good thing you want too. It just
Yeah.
has that good hook. So
Yeah, absolutely.
well, tell the guys hi. Too bad. Love to meet you guys in person and get to know you and that. So we'll have to keep in contact. And
Minneapolis is going to happen soon. We need to make it happen with the amount of love we have and fans we have there. So sooner than later, Minneapolis probably. I bet it will happen sometime 2025, and we'll definitely see you there.
Pit Stop Motorsports, Dirt Tracks Racing, largest inventory trackside parts service. We keep racers on the track, located in Rock Springs, Wyoming, and coming to a track near you. Check us out on Facebook at Pit Stop Motorsports. And tell Slade Pitt the slimy bastards sent you.
Driver interviews, pit action, industry news. We're bringing you everything that fuels the adrenaline-pumping world of dirt track racing. Buckle up now. You're sitting with the slimy bastard.